I've been reviewing fly fishing gear for over a decade, and in that time I've used a lot of different waders. I've had great experiences with cheap ones and really expensive ones too. In that time, I've seen a lot of different models get introduced that were the greatest and the best and the biggest innovation of their time, and I've seen others just kind of fizzle out. What's really interesting is that I've started to notice a pattern when I look at the wader industry as a whole. Essentially, there's 3 tiers of waders you can pick from. Under $300, this is what we would call the commodity tier. Most of these waders are made with really similar materials and construction, just different logos. They'll absolutely get the job done. I've worn them myself for a while, but they're not built for heavy use. As a rule, you can almost expect them to wear out quicker, and usually there's not much in terms of warranty or repair support. If you're only fishing a handful of times a year, or you're just starting out, you're not sure if you're gonna like this sport, these can be a fantastic option. But if you're someone who's on the water a lot or likes to hike and move around a lot when you're fishing, these waders probably aren't the best choice for you. Now we move into this $300 to $500 range, and honestly, this is kind of the dead zone in the wader world. You're paying more for the waders, but you're not always getting a meaningful upgrade in performance or durability. This is where it's really easy to overpay for small improvements. Then you hit that $550 and up range, and that's where things really start to change. You end up with better materials, better construction, and more thoughtful design that actually improves your time on the water. And just as important, you're getting brands that stand behind their product with real warranty and repair programs too. These waders usually do cost a bit more upfront. You might need a payday loan or to go pawn your wedding ring to afford them, but the cost per use ends up working out in your favor. Here's a real simple way to think about it. If you're fishing once or twice a month during the warmer months, maybe 10 to 20 days total per year, a budget pair under $300 is totally fine. But if you fish more consistently, maybe you're on the water every week, or you're putting 30, 40, or even 50 plus days a year on the water, you're gonna burn through those cheaper waders pretty quickly. So let's look at what that actually means in terms of cash money. If you're fishing about once a week during the season, spring, summer, fall, maybe a couple times during the winter, that ends up being around 25 to 30 days per year. And if your waders last about 100 days, which is pretty standard before you see major problems, that's a little over 3 years of use. So if you're spending around $569 on a pair of waders, that breaks down to about $5 to $6 per day on the water. And that's not even factoring in taking good care of them or repairs, which can extend that life even further, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So when you look at it that way, that big upfront cost starts to feel like a much more reasonable investment. And at this point, it probably ought to just come out and say it, Skwala is our official wader partner. The reason we partnered with them is pretty simple. We've been using their gear here at VFC for years, and I actually have been using their stuff since right when they started, long before we thought of any partnership. We have bought and used and abused a lot of waders and boots in my time here at VFC, and Skwala is the brand that we keep coming back to. What really stood out to us about Skwala isn't just the bougie waders with all the pockets and the fancy zipper. That stuff's nice, but what really grabbed our attention is how they approach every single product. Their gear is built around solving a specific problem on the water, and they don't just update it and release a new version every year. They're constantly trying to improve it and make it better. And on top of all of that, the team at Skwala is top notch. They're a blast to work with. They're all fishy dudes, and their customer service has saved my butt more than a couple of times. And for us, that's what really matters. If you know anything about VFC, it's that we want you to live real life. You have that incredible experience out on the water, and part of that comes from your gear. So we wouldn't recommend stuff that doesn't help you do that. So if you want help picking the right pair of waders for you, we've actually put together an entire guide that walks you through the process. It breaks down exactly what we recommend, why, and which ones are right for you, and I'll throw a link to that down below this video. If you're looking for what we personally use and trust, that's in there as well. Now, what if I told you there is a way you could potentially double the life of your waders and get even more out of your investment? Sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Well, good news, it's not. In the next video, we cover 4 simple tips on how to care for your waders and extend their life. Check it out right here.